So you've finally gotten around to exploring the vast landscape of Tears of the Kingdom for a hot minute. You did some exploring, you found a few caves, dove into the depths, and maybe even investigated one of those regional phenomena. With that extra experience under your belt, you're pretty much free to go anywhere now. But where should you go next? Lucky for you, we've got some ideas on even more things to do first, many of which you should be on the lookout for after doing at least one main dungeon. The first thing you're going to want to do is revisit Lookout Landing. It's always nice to return to home base, and even nicer when some important changes actually happen while you're away. After completing at least one of the regional main quests, you can return to find a few new additions to Lookout Landing that are worth checking out. Robbie and Josha have a follow-up quest in the depths if you already did the camera quest, and we'll touch more on that later. Mubs' shop will expand in goods depending on which region you've cleared up, and may even offer armor usually sold in Rito Village or Goron City. A strange pillar has fallen from the sky right into the fort's pond, and a researcher named Wartsworth will clue you in on a quest to find and catalog similar ruins. Down in the emergency shelter, a hole has opened up leading right into the Royal Hidden Passage, which stretches all the way to Hyrule Castle. In addition to a creepy statue that lets you pay to swap hearts and stamina around, you can delve into the sprawling cave system to find all 3 pieces of the soldier armor, take on some tough enemies, and find tons of ore and bomb flowers. Then it's time to go back to the depths. Remember that new quest that Josha has in Lookout Landing? You should probably go do that ASAP, especially if you've been having fun tinkering with creating vehicles and other things with Ultra Hand. The quest is a straightforward one, just follow the trail of statues, but it ends with a fun surprise that we won't spoil, as well as unlocking Link's final ability, Auto Build. With this, anything you glue together will automatically be added to the list of creations you can summon at will, either using nearby parts on hand or converting Zonite in your inventory to fill in the gaps. This means you can also simply add a small part to functional Zonite vehicles that you may happen across and then favorite them in order to summon them whenever you need them next. And then you should build a better battery. After finishing up the Depths quest, be sure to stop by and chat with the friendly constructs who come out of hiding. Not only do you get new schematics for your auto build, but a new forge shop will open up, like the tiny one you may have forgotten about back on the Great Sky Island. Here you can trade in Zonite or large Zonite for different quantities of crystallized charges. And when you add that to the 100 you got in a chest for completing that last quest, you should be ready to start upgrading your energy cell. Another place on the Great Sky Island you might have forgotten about is the refinery by the 4th Shrine. This guy will add another notch to your battery for every 100 crystallized charges you turn in, and there's plenty of room left on your belt. If you don't want to travel that far, another refinery is on a giant rock that's fallen right outside Lookout Landing. To get more charges, you can either keep investigating the side quest that opens up from the Depths quest, or explore more on your own to mine Zonite and defeat mini-bosses for rewards. After you've returned to Josha and Robbie, you can talk to Robbie again to find out that he's finally ready to head back to his lab in Hateno, and we'll add some improvements to your pad, including things that were only available as DLC in Breath of the Wild. Hateno is off in the far southeast corner of the map, past the Dueling Peaks, and once you arrive at the lab, you can start working on various upgrades, including the Shrine Sensor, Hero's Path, and the Travel Medallion to create your own fast travel spots. But you'll need to hoof it up to Akala in the far northeast tip of the map to get the required item. Next up, you're going to want to turn in those bubble gems. It's possible that you may have already started on this questline, but if you haven't, be sure to stop by the Woodland Stable on the way up to Akala to get the item that I just mentioned previously. Just behind the stable is a large cave entrance where you can run into the monster merchant Kilton, as well as his brother, who really wants bubble gems. After you give him one, he'll run off to Akala just behind the Skyview Tower on a ridge close to Terrytown, and giving him more bubble gems will unlock various monster parts, monster masks, to help you blend in with enemies, and a very special set of armor that has a crazy expensive ability. It's tempting to just spend all of your time on the ground in Hyrule, because that's where the bulk of the main story and side quests in Tears of the Kingdom take place, but don't forget that there's whole other worlds, both above and below you, with plenty of treasure unique to those areas. You'll want to explore the Sky Islands to specifically look for Zonai device dispensers, which will dramatically increase your building capabilities by giving you new devices. As you unlock towers, check your map of Sky Islands near each tower to find archipelagos with sections that look like a plus sign. These islands can be rotated to eject you in different directions at high speeds, but also have a shrine and a device dispenser nearby. Be sure to solve any quests relating to opening the shrine, and interact with it to use it as a quick fast travel spot to get more devices as needed. Up here in the sky, you will also find old maps and many treasure chests that will point you to extremely worthwhile treasure down in the depths. Speaking of the depths, you should also make it a point to explore down there as well, as it's a great place to find zonite, untarnished weapon bases, bomb flowers, and much more. And then there's the sequel to Getting a Horse, the Golden Edition. So you've gotten at least one horse by now. Maybe you've also had some already in the stable from your Breath of the Wild save, or maybe you also scanned in Epona. But since she can't be upgraded or tow cargo, there's a limit on her usefulness. One of the reporter quests at the Snowfield Stable in the Hebra Fields, east of Rito Village, involves Zelda's missing golden horse, who ran off into the snowfield just to the north among some ruins. Skirt around the flying Gleeok and bring some extra stamina food before trying to tame the horse, and then bring it back to the stable. Zelda's horse may not have as much base stamina as Epona, but this one can at least pull cargo with the towing harness, and you'll be able to customize it with different saddles and brittles, plus upgrade stats at the Horse God in Akala, making it a great addition to your stable. While it's not as immediately important as getting armor that will keep you warm, if you want to explore the Elden region proper, and especially if you want to complete the main quest that takes you through that region, you're going to need armor that keeps you cool against fiery temperatures. Fortunately, it's fairly easy to get. Head on over to Goron City and purchase the Flamebreaker armor set. The totally normal Goron manning the shop will even sell it to you at a decent discount. Or make some elixir using flameproof lizards. The Flamebreaker armor set's Flame Guard will not help you against the hot sun of the desert, however. So if you're looking to properly explore the desert region, make a stop at the Karakara Bazaar and buy the Desert Foe headband. Or if you don't have rupees to spare, you could always make some meals with hydromelons, chillfish trout, and or cool safina, all of which are fairly easily obtainable. And finally, defeat stronger enemies to make stronger weapons. The tougher the enemy, the better the prize in Tears of the Kingdom. And so, you're going to want to tackle some of the various mini-bosses in order to claim their monster parts and attach it to your strongest weapon bases. Stone taluses are a great option, and you can find a few of them here on the map. They're generally pretty easy to kill by just aiming for their stone weak point with your bow, while making sure that when they're about to throw rocks at you, you're sprinting to the side in order to avoid getting hit. Taluses will drop various types of Talus Hearts, which are very durable weapon parts that are especially good against armored enemies. Hinox and Stalnoxes are great enemies to fight as well, as they are also fairly easy to bring down once you know their tricks. Attaching Keese eyeballs to your arrows is a great way to hit their eyeballs and stun them momentarily, giving you time to deal big damage while they're vulnerable. Just don't be too greedy, as once they recover, they will likely do a big butt slam that will take away all of your health should it land. If you really want to push your luck, you can also try to take on a Lynel or Gleeok, though these fights are exceptionally tougher and will require more resources in order to deal with. And those are 9 more things to do in Tears of the Kingdom. Thanks for watching, and for more Tears of the Kingdom coverage, make sure to check out IGN.com for our interactive map and constantly updating wiki page. And for everything else Zelda, keep it here on IGN.